Hello, people of the internet. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Happy Wednesday to you all. There's been some music that's dropped today. I should be working on a presentation for my PhD program, but we've got music to check out, and this is, well, for me personally, one of the biggest K-band releases that I could have imagined. Because ONEWE are back with brand new music. We checked out the title track, Beautiful Ashes. It was spectacular. It is so terrific to see all five members back together making music again. But this isn't just a single. We have an album to get through, because ONEWE have gone and not just released a new title track, but they have dropped the latest installment in their Planet 9 series, Planet 9 ISOTROPY, and that means we have B-sides to check out. So we are going to go and do just that. Typical album listen rules apply. I'm gonna read credits before every song. Every song is going to be chaptered below, so you can skip ahead to a certain B-side if you're interested. If you're ready for the long haul like me, I'm going to roll the intro real quick and I'll see you on the other side. Here we go! The title track got me so excited, I am a little bit sweaty. It also doesn't help that it's still, well, it's 6:30 and it's something like 24 degrees outside. It's very warm for mid-April, but that's not going to stop me from checking out all of the B-sides. So we have got 5 B-sides to get through, which is a 6-track album, but I spent what felt like an eternity on the title track because it was that good, mind you, but I spent a very long time on the title track, so we are going to go straight into track number 2. This is Shoot It Out, written by Kang Hyun, Kokodubu Papa, and Gyuk. Here we go. Holy love vocals. Oh. Oh, the cymbal roll into the bass slide into the big hit Hello. Oh, throw it into halftime. I'm waiting to try and figure out what the pacing of this song is. Is it supposed to be slow or quick? It feels slowish. Oh, take the bottom and way out for Dong Myung's vocals. That's a cool touch. I love how heavy this guitar part is. Oh my goodness. Okay, this chugs. Whoa. I don't know what noise just came out of my mouth, but Younghoon's it's that damn Younghoon high voice with the little trail off he does. Pretty angsty cute, yes. Okay, look, this song has a lot of things going in its favor that I like. He's so smooth. The Kang Hyun is so smooth with it. Again, Harin with just the most tasteful of drum fills on the transitions. Really interesting take though. to switch the second half of the chorus into halftime. Double guitar to finish? Okay, we are off to kind of a flyer. See, the thing is, I would go and listen to this again, and I'm kind of tempted to do so, but there are a lot of things working in this song's favor that I already really like. I love the separation that each phrase has. I love that even though ONEWE as a band and as their sound can get quite intense with the instrumental side of things, they're still letting the vocals shine. Like, Shoot It Out as a song is not an easy song. Like, there's a lot going on. It gets heavy and intense at times. And yet, the vocals are never, like, deprioritized. We've got all three varieties of vocals. I mentioned this during the title track. But the fact that, you know, we've got the emotional vocal duo of Younghoon and Dongmyeong, 1 and 2. Younghoon with his super rich yet super emotional, like, kind of caramelly tone. Then you got Dongmyeong with his more trebly tone, but also equally as emotionally pretty. But then you throw in Gyuk's kind of grittier lower tone into the mix. You know, once he puts some venom behind his voice, you feel the kind of angsty sound. We saw that during his solo works, his 2 solo works, mind you, that dropped in between this and last group release. That third voice is everything for me. I think, again, I'm gonna kind of repeat what I said during the title track, but it adds a different side of the human emotion that I feel like Younghoon and Dongmyeong normally wouldn't touch on, and it's that kind of aggressive, grittier side, the more kind of darker side of the human emotion. And that's so cool to me. And especially because ONEWE as a group can really crank up the heaviness in their music, like Shoot It Out. Where is it? Let's find the second chorus. Because this is the pre-chorus, but like that guitar part, the drum part, this is, until we get to like a solo element, the kind of hardest it goes, right? Because it's a big drop, you're expecting a sound to switch, the sound switches, and then the crunch gets cranked up all the way. And now you're thinking, okay, is this gonna start chugging? This is gonna go somewhere. And then, well, this is the second time around, admittedly, but really cool little detail. I'm pretty sure that's Kanghyun and Gyuk unison until Kanghyun goes off and does his thing on guitar. They're playing different octaves, but I'm pretty sure they're playing in unison, which is a very cool touch. And this kind of, when the song switches into halftime, I'm sorry, Younghoon, for cutting off your high note, but once the song switches into halftime, it almost has this kind of sluggish heaviness to it, which I think is really cool because it kind of, like, you know, hits the brakes on the song a little bit, but it adds even more of an oomph to every beat that you feel in the song, just because every single beat feels heavier now that it's slower. It's more pronounced. Because now we're back into that faster full-time speed. I think that switch is tremendous. Oh, all right. We're going to keep her moving so I don't take up 3 hours going through 5 songs. Next up, track number 3. This is Meteor Shower, written by Gyuk and Grey Dot. Believe is a combo that we've seen on Gyuk's solo works before, so I wonder what direction this could go. 수많은 계단의 끝에 품고 있던 우리 아직 꿈으로만 간직하고 있던 여긴 둘만의 비밀이 있어 어제와 다를 것 없는 눈빛과 밤하늘을 Rapper Gear, good to see you, bud. Whoa! Oh, this is a long intro. But also, I hear you choir section in the background. Already, the sound signature is kind of giving me... vocal harmony. The sound signature is kind of giving me what Scratch would have sounded like during Psycho-Cybernetics era, if that makes sense. It's got the kind of chugging feel of Scratch, but with the kind of digital aspect of Psycho-Cybernetic. There's that Gertie Duke voice again. Younghoon, sir. Oh, such a smart place to put a little pause in the instrumental part. This song is super easy to listen to, but almost too easy to listen to. Like, the song sometimes, if it goes on for too long, will start running off. They put in the pause at just the right moment for me. Ooh. That was really cool. It almost went kind of like triumphant sounding there. But yeah, in general, Meteor Shower has more of a digital sound signature across the board. Nice pause. You hear Duke moving on his bass back there? Ooh. Isolate the vocals, come in with the drum fill one more time. I love how meaty these like intro-outro phrases are. Look at this, everybody. In this economy, in this day and age, a song that is damn near 4 minutes long. Thank you, K-Bands. Oh, but no, Meteor Shower, really cool sound switch. I like the kind of digital aspect of things because it's turning regular instruments that we're kind of used to hearing in the ONEWE setup, and they're spinning it in this almost futuristic side of things, so it sounds more plucky in a way. Like Kanghyun's guitar solo very much had a more digital kind of filter over it, so it almost sounds like he's not playing an electric guitar like a traditional electric guitar, but something maybe a little bit more futuristic. And the overall sound signature in general of this song, lots of digital work going on, but I think just seeing the music team behind it, it makes sense, especially if you're familiar with Gyuk's solo work. Especially his debut EP very much had that kind of futuristic side. It was the entire shtick of the debut album was, I mean, well, the entire shtick of his debut album was that he was making a solo debut, but you know, he was exploring that kind of more digital side of music for a lot of the songs, and it's really cool that we're kind of seeing that bleed into the group ONEWE music now, because this is different in terms of, well, kind of what I'm used to listening to as ONEWE, but at the same time, it's still just ONEWE. It's got the really smooth, high-flying vocals. It's got the really clean instrumental section. Harin on drum fills this, like, Harin on drums throughout this entire album, I feel like he's leveled up a couple notches. Just, there's this kind of artistry to his drum fills this time around that's just so clean and so appropriate, yet so satisfying to listen to. And I feel like I'm gonna say that a lot, but in general, when it comes to bands, in my opinion, drummers never get the credit that they deserve. And I like that we're getting a lot of little moments where Harin can add his, Harin drum flair into the music. So, spectacularo, as always. Next up, track number 4, Count the Stars, written by Mr. Yonghoon, Jeon Da-woon, and Gyuk. I believe Jeon Da-woon is one of the RBW music team people. Yeah, it is. Exact same music team as Beautiful Ashes, the title track. That synth sound has been used in many a song from the 1980s. Love it though. Slow build. Really slow build. Interesting, a song with really no middle range right now. Pretty high keys, and then you have Gyuk in the low end. Really nothing in the middle. Wow, really interesting breakup in the albums right now. Peep the vocal layering one time. Oh my god. Interesting that this song really doesn't go through a lot of changes. It's like if you cut out that moment of musical silence before the chorus drop, it really hasn't bumped up too far. But it doesn't need to. Now, how is Kanghyun gonna slot into this song? Straight into the bridge. Not too much of a change either. Gyuki, I hear you moving back there. No guitar solo yet. I wonder if we're not gonna get one for this. Like, he's flying back there in the mix, but he hasn't gotten like a solo. Count the Stars is actually quite an interesting song. There is a very distinct twinkle And that partly comes down to the fact that the entire kind of keyboard section throughout the song sits pretty high. And there's certain parts where the keyboard part purposely uses a bright, twinkly synth sound. So I think kind of further push the, the space kind of nighttime star gazing sound signature, so to speak. Really interesting song though. It's a song that's really consistent, which makes the listening experience pretty easy. Like, I kept mentioning how the initial build took a really long time. And I understand why, is because the song really doesn't need to go through a whole bunch of phase changes to get its point across. If you listen to a pop song, you've got your kind of opening, boom, and then you've got your first verse, then the pre-chorus drops down, and it's quite a noticeable drop down in preparation for the big hit that is the chorus release, right? That's typically how a pop song formula goes. You have your verse, drop down for the pre-chorus, build up, and then boom, chorus. That is your kind of waveform graph, so to speak, if you're looking at a pop song. With Count the Stars, the first build is long, and it's really long, and it's consistent all the way to the chorus release. And once it gets to that chorus release, it's not like a huge step up. It kicks up enough to notice and for you to recognize that, okay, we're in a different part of the song now. And once you listen to the first two measures of it, okay, this is the chorus. It's brighter, it's louder, there's a lot more going on. But once you get to that second verse, it really doesn't drop down a whole lot. And the kind of, I don't want to call it flatness, but the musical consistency, the consistency of the curve makes this song really, what's the best way I can explain this? The lack of a big change doesn't take away from the listening experience at all. You still get a really nice, pretty song out of it. And even though the song doesn't change a whole lot, I think it works in its favor because the song is consistent. Had they dropped off the song too much or they bumped it up too much, I think it would have been inappropriate for the type of sound they were going for. So I commend them for the control that they have for this. Commend, not condemn, commend. There we go. Kiss in the Rain, track number 5. I also see that it is 4 minutes and 19 seconds long in this economy. Anyways, Kiss in the Rain, track number 5, written by Dongmyeon, Gyuk, John Da-woon, and Coco Papa. Alright. Also, the one and only Dongmyeon Ragan credit on this album. I love this kind of old-timey feel too. There's an expensiveness to this sound, an elegance to this sound. Ooh, cut away the bass. It's really pretty. On occasion, I love a good just slow lounge song like this. Oh, get classy with the keys one time. Gyuk's voice suits that. I like the kind of fuzziness his voice has, but also Gyuk's bass line in this doesn't have too much movement, not like on his usual, on his electric bass. It almost feels like he's playing on an upright bass, which would be very era appropriate. I like that just the style from everyone is really leaning into this lounge vibe. Even Hudden's probably using like a wire brush drumstick. That's why you get the kind of the roughness in that snare. And even Kanghyun, lots of double stops in the first half. And then just really melodic in the second half. Peep the two-part vocals. Okay, that's really pretty. And I think the finale of that, right at the end, I'm pretty sure it was Dongmyung's high vocals and then just the keys to take it away. It's just, I have the clearest mental image of, you know, them in, say, pinstripe suits or something like that, in a dimly lit, like, smoking club from the 1950s. It's expensive everywhere, you know. People have cigars, people have expensive drinks. They're dressed super fancy, and just having them in the corner playing music like this, and just finishing. Dongmyung Anki is doing the woo part with the piano. Just, it's exquisite. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is the second time this week that we've had a song of this nature. I think the other one was the final song on Boy Next Door's most recent EP. It was an outro song that kind of went along this style. It was more slower doo-wop than this, but I am kind of a sucker for this type of slow lounge stuff. I think there's just this indescribable elegance to it that you can't really replicate in using like current sound. Everything on the engineering side of things takes that into account. So you've got, you know, Kanghyun's guitar very much cleaner on the electric guitar mix, possibly playing a guitar that's more era appropriate, you know, your resonator guitar or something of that nature. Even his solo work, nothing too lavish, nothing too quick, very much tonal. You know, get pretty with the double stops in the first half and then get really smooth and melodic in the second half. Very era appropriate. The piano sample or the piano sound that Dongmyung's synth is playing very much has that kind of old-timey feel to it. Gyuk on bass, again, taking away the flair and the runs of modern day electric bass and then adding something that rhythmically and stylistically sounds a lot like it's being played on upright bass rather than electric bass. And it's the little details like that that really make the overall project and the overall sound really cohesive with the concept that they're going for. And it's spectacular. And I mean, having really pretty vocalists works really well, but for me, oh, and Harin on the kit, you know, nothing, pretty kind of loose playing style, having that wire brush drumstick gives this snare almost like a little sandy sound. It's not crisp and clear and doesn't crack, but it has a little bit of a rustle sound to it. Same on the hi-hat, same on the cymbals. It's all very gentle and very smooth. And all of those little details get the sound time, like, period accurate. it pays off in the end, because this is a very detailed song in that regard, and because of it, the final execution is spectacular. Oof, oof, oof. Alright, and this is track number 6, the final song on the album, which is extremely sad because that means the album is over. But track number 6, Pleasant, written by Mr. Harin, John Daun, Yogun, and Gyuk. Is this Harin's one and only album credit on this? Yes, it is. Okay. But that means, well, yeah, that means everyone got involved at least on one song. Hell yeah. That's not a ballad. It kind of chugs, hold on. It's like they built the album in reverse. Are we gonna end with a high energy banger? The hoo-ha and the harmonies? Well, let it cook. It's weirdly cute. Why is that reminds me of a melody. What's really interesting is I could hear QWER doing this. Because it's got the kind of cutesy, youthful, lively vibe, which is really interesting. Oh, fake me out one time. I was about to say the rep. I like the relaxed take the rep versus taking. Not relaxed anymore. It's chugging. A nice meaty solo too. Also, I heard that drum fill hot in. It might have been low and back in the mix, but I heard that. Interesting unison vocals. Okay, that's crazy. It's is a group called Cherry Filter? I'm gonna go on Spotify real quick and find it. Okay, I did find it. It was Cherry Filter. It's Flying Duck by Cherry Filter, specifically the post-chorus section of Flying Duck by Cherry Filter. It's got that. I went back a little bit too far, but so it's that song. It is stylistically, I think, very similar to like melodically it's different. I think the notes it's using is different, but stylistically I think it's very similar. It's got the chanty vibe to it. It's got the kind of back and forth with the guitar. Well, in Cherry Filter it's both simultaneous, but you're getting kind of a back and forth with Pleasant. ONEWE's Pleasant, but This is such an interesting direction to finish an album with. Because, look, I mean, when you start an album with a proper ballad like Beautiful Ashes, it's you kind of have to get a little bit funky with it in terms of how you finish the album. Because usually you finish on a ballad. But ONEWE are notorious for doing a ballad as a title track. In fact, not many groups will challenge a ballad as a title track because ballads aren't really popular amongst the general public. They much more prefer a catchier, like a short, catchy song with a really good hook and a really good melody. ONEWE have never really conformed to that. So to finish an album, they kind of have to, figure out what type of sound can we do? What type of sound can we finish on? And they decided to end it on a banger. Like they decided to just open the energy taps and just let out everything they had left in the tank. And it's great. And I mentioned earlier, it's very stylistically similar to what I would imagine a group like QWER making music. I mean, it's the brightness with the chugging energy and the really bouncy vibe that scream QWER to me. But it's so foreign to what I'm used to hearing with. Admittedly, I'm not that well versed in the ONEWE discography, so maybe they've got some really bright stuff in the past. Like, I'd probably say pre Planet Nine Voyager, I'm really not all that well versed in, especially the B-sides. But if they've done stuff that is at this level of brightness, that's quite impressive. That's impressive range that they can do. But yeah, Pleasant's nice. Pleasant's a really nice finish because it ends on a high, and when you finish an album with a ballad, it's a really nice conclusion in that you've exerted all your energy throughout the album and now you can relax. But with Pleasant, you're ending on a bright, happy note, right? You started all emotional, and like Kiss in the Rain is super pretty, super relaxed, and then boom, injection of energy, Pleasant. We're gonna finish on a high. Go dance your socks off. Go have a good time. And have a good time I did. Oh my goodness, that was spectacular. Okay, where do I even want to start with this album? Like, genuinely. This is, once again, a no-skip album, as is expected from ONEWE at this point. But I genuinely don't know, like, where I even want to start talking about Isotropy. Like, I do like, now especially that we've covered both Geok releases, Psycho Cybernetics and Rise Waves, I think, his 2 solo EPs, that hearing a song like Meteor Shower is like, oh, I know exactly where that sound came from. And hearing the rest of the guys on it, I think is a really cool touch because it works for them. It's different, but it works for them. And then whenever you get a song that is just so pretty, like Kiss in the Rain, I'm gonna love it. It's just a personal musical taste thing. It just works for me. And then you have songs that can turn up the intensity a little bit, like Shoot It Out, and turn up the intensity in a different direction, like Pleasant, and thinking, oh, okay, let's have a good time. Let's kind of enjoy ourselves a little bit. And then you get a little bit pretty with like Count the Stars and Beautiful Ashes. And this is, I mean, at this point, this is kind of a typical ONEWE experience, isn't it? Like, you get your super pretty, you get your high energy, you go a little bit classy. At the end of the day, it's all of them back together. And this new kind of era, or yeah, this new era for ONEWE is a lot of fun. The fact that, through his 2 solo releases and the 3 release, Geok's vocal confidence has shot through the roof, so much to the point where he himself can pull off like 3 different vocal parts just from his super unique vocal color and vocal texture, and the range too, like the emotional and the tonal range that he's capable of doing. He can cover like 3 different vocal parts at once. And then you add that to the already spectacular vocal arrangement of Younghoon and Dong Young-hoo. How many times have I mentioned their vocals today? I don't know. A lot. If I gave you a nickel for every time I mentioned their vocal colors and the spectacularness of their voices, I would be broke. Which admittedly isn't that hard to do because I'm a broke college kid, but Point still stands. I would be broke because I would have given away so many nickels. Kanghyun on guitar is a wizard like always. He has such a gorgeous technique, tonal sound, same thing. Just this tonal quality of his guitar solos is almost like a nostalgic thing for me, because he reminds me of some of the guitarists that would pop up on, with me growing up around 80s rock music. He's got this kind of melodicness that has power and grit, but also elegance too. And I think that balance is really cool. Harin on drums this era has had these stylistic little injections everywhere, and all of them are just so perfect. The little fills in the transitions, your runs, your little cymbal rolls, the really just clean kind of like bass, the kick drums, your snares and your hi-hats. Every single time you get just a little nibble of that Harin drum fill or the Harin drum line in the back, it's just like, oh yeah, he's here. And you feel it and you notice it and you love and appreciate it. The keyboard part, Dongyong on keys, gorgeous. I think he almost plays his keyboard, and the keyboard is mixed in a way where it almost sounds like a second guitar part a lot of the times. It's got the kind of melodic quality of Kanghyun's guitar part, which I find really cool to listen to. Of course, having two guitarists in Yonghoon and Kanghyun adds a really nice double guitar element. Sometimes it's double electric, sometimes it's 1-in-1 electric and acoustic, sometimes it's 2 acoustic, sometimes you only get 1 guitar part. Every single time, the guitars are always locked in with each other. They sound great. Gyuk on bass, he can really fly on the bass, but he can also slow it down and get really refined with it, as we found out in Kiss in the Rain. It's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted from a ONEWE release. My expectations were high coming into this. Like, unreasonably high, probably. And yet, they've blown my expectations well out of the water. And that's just what ONEWE do best, is they have a high quality of music that they have established time and time again that they can do and maintain. They went on military hiatus, 2 members went away. They came back, their sound has leveled up past the point where their high level, they were already producing really high level music, and yet they've managed to level that up again and exceed expectations like it was just any other Wednesday. They're spectacular, man, and I will never run out of things to say when it comes to ONEWE. And honestly, this is probably why they're my alt K-band, is because of that. They can do the emotional, they can do the hard crunchy bits, they can do the dark and depressing, and they can do it all so well. They can do it so effectively. And of course, that little personal connection will always be there for me too. But I have talked your ears off enough today about my love for ONEWE and their music, so I'm going to leave it there. Thank you all for listening along with me. Hopefully you enjoyed it as much as I did. Hopefully I didn't bore you too much with my waffling. But one last request from me today: let us work together as a community to bring a little bit of extra happiness back into the world. Whether it be, checking with your friends and family, holding the door open for somebody, or even picking up a piece of trash off the street. Just one small act of kindness that may brighten up someone else's day to day. And know that wherever you are in the world, should you ever be going through a tough time in your life, for whatever reason it may be, even though I'm just some guy on the internet who waffles about music in his free time, know that I will always be a friend, ally, and a shoulder to lean on whenever you need me. So take care of yourselves, take care of each other, spread the love, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.